Truth does not live in the noise of the world. It waits in the quiet chambers of the inner life. But most people will do anything to avoid going there. They fill their hours with distraction, their hearts with craving, as if noise could save them from themselves. You search for rest everywhere except the one place it can be found, within your own soul. You run after pleasures, after status, after admiration, and every desire becomes another chain. A man becomes a slave to whatever he obeys. If anger rules him, anger is his master. If lust rules him, lust is his master. If pride rules him, pride is his master. And yet he calls himself free. You complain about the world, about evil days, about how people have changed. But the times are not your problem. Your habits are. You carry your own trouble inside you. Wherever you go, your heart goes too, restless and ungoverned, dragged by your own appetites like a prisoner led by many ropes. You want peace, but you will not turn inward. You want clarity, but you feed yourself illusions. You want freedom, but you refuse discipline. What is this except wanting the fruit without the labor? Return to yourself. Do not wander. Do not scatter your soul across 1,000 desires and call the pieces a life. The truth you seek is not far away. It is not hidden in the distant sky or buried in the depths of the sea. It is near you, so near that you overlook it. It dwells in the quiet center you avoid entering. And why do you avoid it? Because the inner life confronts you with yourself. There, the masks you show the world fall away. There, the noise cannot drown your conscience. There, your wounds speak plainly, and you cannot pretend not to hear them. So you flee into pleasure, into ambition, into endless activity, into anything that keeps you from silence. But the soul is healed only in stillness. Restlessness is the mark of a divided soul. You reach for one thing, then another, pulled by impulses that contradict each other, drawn toward pleasures that vanish the moment you touch them. You are not restless because you lack something. You are restless because you lack yourself. You chase after what the world promises: comfort, admiration, importance, control. But every promise it makes comes with a hidden price. To seek comfort is to become fragile. To seek admiration is to become dependent. To seek importance is to become anxious. And to seek control is to live in fear of losing it. You call these pursuits freedom, but they bind you. You imagine yourself the master of your life, yet the desires you cultivate become the laws you obey. A man ruled by anger cannot choose peace. A man ruled by lust cannot choose chastity. A man ruled by pride cannot choose humility. When a vice has become your master, your will does not govern your life. Your cravings do. So long as you are a stranger to your own heart, you will be at the mercy of whatever stirs within it. But there is another way, a narrow way, a difficult way, a liberating way. Turn inward. Examine the desires that rule you. Ask your soul, what have I allowed to govern me? What voice do I obey when no one is watching? You fear this questioning because it might unsettle you. but you are already unsettled. Restlessness is not cured by motion. It is cured by meaning. And meaning is discovered only in the still, honest depths, where the soul finally speaks the truth about itself. Do not be afraid to enter that silence. It is not empty. It is not hostile. It is the place where healing begins, where illusions die, where the scattered pieces of your life start to gather into unity. For truth dwells in the inner man. But truth does not shout. It waits. The soul cannot thrive in disorder. When desires pull you in opposing directions, your strength is scattered. When you pursue pleasures that contradict your deepest good, your will becomes weak. And when your habits are divided, your life becomes divided with them. People imagine discipline to be a burden, but the burden is actually the lack of it. For without discipline, the soul collapses into confusion. A house with no order, a fire with no hearth to contain it. Look at your inner life honestly. What rules you? What commands you? What do you obey without resistance? Every craving you indulge without question becomes a voice that speaks in your decisions. Every impulse you never challenge becomes a force that shapes your destiny. And though you may call these choices, they are not choices at all. For the man who cannot say no has no freedom to say yes. Virtue is not the absence of desire, but the mastery of it. Strength is not never being tempted, but standing firm in the presence of temptation. And freedom is not doing whatever you want, but becoming the kind of person whose wants no longer destroy him. Order your soul, and your life will follow. Bring your desires under your will, and your will under the truth, and you will discover a strength the world cannot give, and circumstances cannot take away. But this work begins in silence. It begins with the courage to sit with yourself without reaching for distraction. When you stop running, you will feel the weight of your passions, but you will also feel the first stirrings of your true freedom. For the quiet soul is not a weak soul. It is a soul trained and tempered, a soul that has faced itself and learned to stand upright. The greatest danger to the soul is not temptation from without, but deception from within. For the heart has many chambers, and some of them you do not enter, because you fear what you will find there. When a man does not want to change, he convinces himself that he does not need to. He calls his vices habits, his addictions preferences, his pride self-respect, his avoidance peace. He hides behind these words as if language could save him from the reality of his condition. This is the sickness beneath all other sicknesses, the refusal to see the truth about oneself. You can deceive others. You can hide your faults under charm or reputation. You can build a life that looks good from the outside. But your own soul is not fooled. It knows when you are divided. It knows when you are ruled by fear. It knows when you are living beneath your calling. And the more you ignore this inner voice, the quieter it becomes. Not because the truth is gone, but because you have trained yourself not to hear it. You search for peace and comfort, but comfort only numbs you. You seek peace in distraction, but distraction only buries your unrest. You claim you want silence, yet every time silence approaches, You reach for something to drown it out. This is not peace. This is sedation. True peace does not come from escaping yourself. It comes from confronting yourself with honesty, with humility, with the willingness to be transformed. Do not fear the inner life. Fear the life lived without ever entering it. For a man who does not know himself cannot govern himself. And a man who cannot govern himself is governed by whatever moves him. The soul grows only in truth, and truth begins where self-deception ends. A restless heart is never satisfied. Give it comfort, and it will soon crave luxury. Give it luxury, and it will soon crave admiration. Give it admiration, and it will soon crave power. Desire does not rest by being granted its wishes. It rests only when it is healed of its hunger. This is why the man who chases pleasures finds himself emptier with every indulgence. What he thought would satisfy him only widens the space within him that aches. And so he blames the world for not being enough. He blames people for not giving him what he wants. He blames circumstances for not arranging themselves in his favor. But the emptiness he feels is not a flaw in the world. It is a wound inside his soul, a wound that desire alone cannot close. When the heart loses its order, it begins chasing shadows as if they were substance. It clings to temporary things, expecting them to offer permanent rest. It reaches outward for what can only be found inward. You grasp at possessions, but possessions cannot quiet the inner storms. You seek pleasure, but pleasure cannot remove the source of your pain. You crave recognition, but no amount of applause can silence the loneliness of a divided soul. For the heart is not made whole by abundance, but by alignment. Not by having more, but by being more rightly ordered. A man who owns everything may still be enslaved by his cravings. A man who owns little but governs his desires is truly rich. The world tells you, satisfy yourself. The restless heart whispers back, I have tried and still I hunger. Do not mistake appetite for purpose. Do not mistake desire for direction. Do not mistake restlessness for failure. It is the soul's cry for order, for clarity, for the quiet strength that comes only when you return to the inner life. For the heart was not made for scattering. It was made for unity. If you want a quiet soul, begin by gathering yourself. Collect the scattered pieces of your attention. Recall your wandering thoughts. Withdraw from the noise that pulls you outward, and return to the place where your life actually unfolds, the interior chamber of your heart. For the soul is like a house left with its doors open. Everything enters: noise, fear, craving, memory, imagination. They pass through you as if you had no walls at all. Close the doors. Stand guard over your own mind, not with fear, but with discernment. For what you allow to enter you slowly becomes what you are. Bring your desires into order. Let the small ones yield to the greater ones. Let impulses serve intention. Let pleasure take its rightful place, as a guest, not a master. Do not try to kill your desires. That is not the path. Desire is part of your nature. But an undirected desire is a fire without a hearth. It burns the house instead of warming it. Give your soul structure. Give it direction. Let your will shape your longings instead of being shaped by them. This work is slow, but slowness is not failure. Every day that you turn inward, even for a moment, you strengthen the quiet center that holds your life together. And you will begin to notice something. The more you enter the silence, the less you fear it. The more you face yourself, the less power your illusions have. The more you bring your desires into order, the more peace rises within you like a tide returning to shore. Peace does not descend upon the soul from above. It grows from within when the soul becomes whole. And the soul becomes whole when it stops being ruled by the many small voices that once commanded it. For a quiet soul is not an empty soul. It is a soul inhabited by itself, fully present, fully awake, fully aligned. There is a kind of calm the world can give you. Brief, shallow, easily disturbed. A quiet born from exhaustion, not from order. A stillness that lasts only until the next desire wakes, the next fear stirs, the next distraction appears. This is not peace. It is simply the pause between battles. True peace does not depend on circumstances. It does not rise and fall with fortune. It is not threatened by change, nor troubled by uncertainty, nor shaken by what others think or fail to think. True peace begins when the soul becomes united, when your thoughts, desires, and actions no longer pull against one another, when the many voices inside you fall silent before a single direction. A man at war with himself will be at war with the world, but a man who possesses himself cannot be easily moved. When the inner life is rightly ordered, disappointments no longer crush you, insults no longer define you, loss no longer unravels you. For your foundations are inside you, not around you. This is why so many remain restless. They try to build a peaceful life without building a peaceful soul. They rearrange circumstances instead of rearranging themselves. They seek a world without trouble while nourishing the very habits that guarantee turmoil. You cannot outrun the disorder within you. It travels wherever you go. But you can heal it. You can face it, order it, discipline it, and slowly transform it. And when the inner life grows quiet, the outer life becomes less threatening. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. The storms that once terrified you now reveal their true size. The fears that once ruled you lose their authority. The cravings that once consumed you become small, manageable shadows in the presence of a deeper light. When you possess the inner life, you carry peace with you. You do not search for it. You do not beg for it. You do not depend on anyone to give it. It becomes the natural climate of your soul. Return to yourself. Not once, not occasionally, but daily. As a discipline, as a homecoming, as the way you keep your soul from dissolving into the noise of the world. For the world will always offer you new distractions, new desires, new reasons to forget the inner life. And if you do not guard your heart, you will drift without noticing it, little by little, choice by choice, until you no longer recognize the person your habits have shaped. A scattered soul becomes a stranger to itself. So gather yourself. Call your mind back from its wanderings. Let your attention dwell where your life truly is, not in the past you cannot change, not in the future you cannot control, but in the interior present where the soul meets itself without disguise. Do not fear this inward turning. Truth dwells there, and truth is not your enemy. Truth is the light that orders your chaos, the voice that calms your storms, the strength that frees you from the many small tyrants you once called desires. Let the world say what it will. Let circumstances rise and fall. Let people praise or forget you. These things cannot grant peace and therefore cannot take peace away. The quiet soul is not made by chance. It is formed by returning inward again and again and again, until what was once unfamiliar becomes your true home. And when the inner life is whole, your outer life begins to reflect it. Your actions grow steady. Your judgments grow clear. Your desires align with what strengthens you. The noise of the world loses its power, and you begin to walk through life with a calm that does not waver, a clarity that does not dim, a strength that does not depend on anything outside yourself. This is the work of the soul. This is the path to peace. This is the life that cannot be shaken. Return inward. Live from that center, and you will not be ruled by the world that once ruled you.